Under the dim, fading light of the late afternoon on a deserted mountainside, Cain stood motionless amidst the thick trees, his cold, piercing gaze locked onto the two figures walking side by side across the green grass below. From a distance far enough to avoid detection, he watched Lily with Damien, each of their gestures feeding the slow-burning fire within him. Lily held Damien's hand, her face gentle and lit with a subtle smile, her eyes sparkling with trust and admiration. Every delicate touch Damien offered while caring for his mother, Amy, did not escape Cain's watchful eyes. Lily softly expressed her gratitude for how Damien treated his mother, his rare compassion and attentiveness shining through the chaos of life. The scene stabbed at Cain's heart and stirred a painful restlessness inside him, a feeling of being shut out from the life of the woman he once believed would always belong to him. Within Lily, emotions twisted into a storm. Standing beside Damien, wrapped in his warmth, she rediscovered a sense of safety she hadn't felt in years. Yet she couldn't determine if she was truly falling for Damien or simply using him as an escape from the shadowy remnants of her past with Cain. But in that moment, seeing Cain standing silently among the trees, his eyes burning with fury and hurt, Lily understood that what she needed wasn't revenge, nor a way to avoid herself. She realized that her closeness to Damien was a way to prove to Cain, and to herself, that their old love was truly buried. And yet, deep down, she kept asking whether this decision came from her heart or if it was driven by a need to make Cain feel the pain of loss and helplessness. Shrouded in thin mist, Cain couldn't suppress the tide of jealousy rising within him. He never imagined he would become the outsider watching Lily build a future with another man. Damien's presence wasn't just a wound to his pride. It reached the most vulnerable corners of Cain's soul. This jealousy wasn't weakness. It was a stark reminder that he had lost something he once thought was eternal. And in Cain's descent into emotional chaos and blind rage, Victor saw a fatal weakness ripe for exploitation. Victor, ever the strategist, prepared to turn Cain's unraveling into an opportunity for conquest. With his cold, calculating eyes, he monitored Cain's every move, ready to strike at the perfect moment. Amanda, with her keen insight and empathy, couldn't ignore the shifts in Cain's emotional state. She approached quietly, warning him of the dangers of letting personal feelings cloud his judgment. Impulsive decisions, she reminded him, could only lead him further into peril. Amanda knew Cain was under surveillance, and that each of his actions could ignite a blaze that would destroy everything he had built. Her presence in the storm of his emotions served as both a warning and a last chance for Cain to save himself before plunging into a darkness from which there would be no return. Elsewhere, the Newman family was plagued by growing unease. Adam, as perceptive as ever, had laid out Cain's suspicious activities in Genoa City for all to hear. Every detail, every warning from Adam deepened Nikki's concern. A woman who had long carried the burden of protecting her family from the undercurrents now breaking the surface. Nikki longed to leave the mountain refuge and return to Victoria and Claire, to regain control of the family business, but her failing health held her back. She understood that danger lurked close. Phantoms of the past and old enemies might reemerge at any moment. Victor, hardened by years of battle, made the decision to stay, to wait patiently for the moment to strike Cain on his own turf. He believed only by confronting the enemy directly could he maintain control and preserve the Newman family's power and legacy. His orders to Adam were not just expressions of trust, they were a test of loyalty and strength. Adam returned to Genoa City with a mission: hold the fortress, protect the company from hidden threats, and crush the growing conspiracy lurking in the shadows. The Newman family, despite years of internal strife, now found itself united once more under the pressure of looming danger, placing their hope and gratitude squarely on Adam's shoulders. But was Adam truly prepared to face the storm alone? The Newman adversaries extended beyond Cain. Emerging forces waited eagerly to exploit any weakness, ready to seize control. Adam, though sharp and driven, remained human, vulnerable to exhaustion and isolation. His battle was not only with external foes but with the haunting solitude festering inside him. Meanwhile, Victoria, once fierce and unbreakable, was now sinking into the sorrow of losing Cole. Each passing day reopened the wound, distracting her from supporting Adam or managing business affairs. She was aware of the family's expectations, but her shattered heart left her adrift. Claire, young and innocent, was anything but safe. She could easily become the target of Kane's revenge, especially now that he was desperate and power-hungry. Strange messages and unexplained signs around their home only heightened Victoria's fear for her daughter's safety and her own. Back in Genoa City, Adam realized that the absence of the family's core members had allowed shadowy forces to act freely. Leaks about major Newman Enterprises projects appeared in the media, business contracts teetered on collapse, and rumors of internal instability left shareholders rattled. Adam threw himself into his work with relentless urgency, investigating every weak link in the organization, searching for the traitor within. At the same time, he had to contend with Kane's dangerous provocations, the lurking predator waiting to strike when Newman was most vulnerable. Though Nikki remained confined in the mountains, she reached out to Victoria and Claire, urging them to be cautious, to trust no one outside the family. She knew Kane's cunning too well. He would use any means necessary, especially targeting women and children, the most defenseless. Nikki wrestled with guilt over her physical limits, but her resolve to protect what remained of her family had never burned brighter. Then came the shocking revelation from Nick. Kane had taken Chance to France, claiming it was to protect him from an alleged murder attempt. This news shattered what little trust remained, sparking new suspicions about Kane's true intentions. Was it really about safeguarding Chance? Or was it a calculated plot to isolate him from Newman's support and use him as a pawn in a deadly power game? In the days that followed, tension within the Newman family thickened. Adam faced cyberattacks, anonymous threats, and strange calls in the dead of night. Victoria struggled with personal grief while trying to keep Claire calm amid the escalating chaos. Nikki, though physically distant, became the emotional backbone, rallying her family through words of encouragement and unwavering determination. Kane, fueled by the sting of losing Lily to Damien, escalated his campaign of vengeance. His heartbreak turned to resolve, prompting him to deploy every dirty tactic to bring the Newmans down. He placed spies in the city's corners, reached out to Newman's business partners with misleading intel, and spread disinformation to sow panic. Amanda's arrival became more than just a moral compass. It was a sign that external players were watching, waiting for their moment to strike. Victor, though still isolated in the mountains, monitored everything through a clandestine communication network. He coordinated with Adam, analyzing Kane's every move and instructing loyal operatives to intervene if the situation deteriorated. Victor understood that this war wasn't just a personal feud, it was the fight for the soul of an empire built on sacrifice. As night fell, each member of the Newman family retreated into their own silent battles. Adam remained at his desk, eyes locked on the computer screen, determined to miss nothing. Victoria sat by the window, her gaze lost in memories of Cole, silent tears falling, but her resolve hardening. Claire, too young to grasp the full extent of the danger, still sensed the unease permeating their home. In a quiet hallway of a French hotel, Chance awoke in a haze of dread. Disjointed memories of Kane's veiled threats haunted his dreams. Outside his room, footsteps echoed ominously through the night, an eerie omen of danger approaching. Meanwhile, Kane sat alone in a darkened room, eyes frozen on the glittering city below. He knew the battle had only begun. Every move forward would now be a life-or-death gamble, for himself, and for those who had betrayed him. Cold mountain winds slithered through the cracks in the windows like ghosts of ambition and loneliness, whispering reminders of all he had lost, and all he was still willing to do to reclaim it. In the dense night of schemes and deception, each figure stood at a crossroad. Suspicion, sorrow, loyalty, and betrayal wove an invisible web, pulling everyone closer to the line between destruction and redemption. No one knew what waited ahead, only that every decision from this moment on would carry consequences that could forever alter the fate of an empire and the hearts that once seemed unbreakable.